Alright everyone, welcome back to our Final Fantasy X HD Remastered Platinum Trophy walkthrough. The last time we left off, I was grinding Dark Matter, which I accomplished. Waka now has Ribbon as well as Titus and Orin already did. The three of these guys also have their break HP limits. I will be getting armor for Yuna, Riku, Kimar, and Lulu with break HP limits as well. We're going to grind a Dark Aeon another time. We're not doing Dark Aeons tonight or in this video. What we are doing is we are going to do basically what I like to call the Monster Arena Gauntlet. We need to unlock this final unknown original creation, and to do that we have to get 10 of every monster, which we did a long time ago, and we also have to go through and beat every Area Conquest monster at least one time, and every species Conquest monster one time, and then we have to beat every original creation monster one time. We have to defeat them in order to unlock that final boss, basically. So we're going to get started. There's been a few videos where I've done quite a few of these already. You know, things just like ones we've had to defeat to get, you know, items. Jumbo Flan, One Eyes. We've fought Fafnir a bunch of times to get Power Sphere, or to get our to get spheres. But I'm actually going to go through. There are a few that we haven't fought, but I'm actually going to go through and fight every one of them all over again in this video so that I can show the strategies again. Most of them, honestly, at this point, with max stats and whatnot, it's just going to be attack, 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 or it's going to be use Waka's overdrive, Waka and or Titus, or both, or and then in between it might be fighting a single monster that I usually do, which is I'll come here to Besaid and just fight a dingo really quick for a one-hit kill to fill up overdrives if I need to for the next fight, but I'll explain all that as we get going. So we're going to save, and we will start straight down the list. So we'll go with the Area Creations first, or Area Conquest monsters first. I just want to check one thing really quick. I meant to check beforehand. Aeons. So, really quick, we're at max stats. Luck is all you need for this. Evasion's all set, you know. But something like agility, in this case, for Anima. So we can actually go attributes, Anima, and we can go down to agility, and we can see that it's going to cost a lot of speed spheres to raise his agility, or her agility 1. If you really wanted to, it's not necessary, but if you really wanted to do something like, you know, agility, get it to 170, Same thing with MP. MP raises by 10, HP by 100. You can grind these. Again, it's not necessary at all, but you can grind them if you really wanted to, because most of what you still need, you know, obviously strength, defense, magic defense. If you're really OCD about, you know, Bahamut not having 255 magic, you can complete these, but as you see, once it gets high enough, you're going to need 99 of a sphere to raise it 1. Now, it's almost always, I believe it's just about always, yeah. You don't need luck on any of them, but every other one is spheres we could easily get very quickly, but it is tedious, and like I said, it's not necessary to do this. It's only a in your mind completion thing, especially once you get to the point where one magic attribute is going to cost you 99 mana spheres. But you can use the Fafnir trick to get 99 of them within 3 battles. So it's not terrible, but it is just a very tedious thing to do when it doesn't affect any trophies, and we've already done a lot of grinding in this this run. So let's get to that. With that being said, alright, so we're gonna find here that it's just a big zoo-like creature. We got ambush, no worries. This has 320,000 HP, so after you hit it enough, it will drop just like a zoo does. And finished. Alright, next we will go to Novel Menace. This one, we get ambushed, but we all have Ribbon, which is great. So it's going to use Putrid Breath, which does almost no damage to us. And with Ribbon on everyone, its Putrid Breath does nothing. And this one has 640,000 HP. I believe also Malbro Menace always ambushes you. And then its Putrid Breath inflicts or tries to inflict confusion, slow, poison, silence, and darkness. Is what the main abilities for it, or the negative status effects that it puts on you. Alright, Kodos is next. This is another one that I'm sure you've seen before, but if not, Kodos is just like Fafnir, where you can also use it to get 40 spheres of your choosing with a extract ability. I find that they're both the same, because Kodos counterattacks everything. So time-wise, even though Kodos only has 440,000 HP, it kind of ends up being the same speed-wise. So that was Kodos. And most of these, the Area Conquest monsters, they're like their lesser counterparts. So like this one is the Corel Regina. It has 380,000 HP, and it does a lot of the same type of moves that Corels in the Comlands use. Only they're like souped up, so they do more damage. It has 380,000 HP, and it uses a chaos attack which causes confusion, curse, and doom, which is similar to like the blaster ability. That one's done. Jormungand has 520,000 HP, and similar to the basilisks, it likes to use its petrification abilities. So if you are just fighting this thing normally without being all souped up, you'd want to have stone proof on your armors if you don't have ribbon. Now, Cactor King can run away. It is a souped up Cactor, and it uses 10,000 needles, which does 10,000 damage, but it also has a souped up version, which is 99,999 needles, which does 99,999 damage to one character. It only has 100,000 HP. But if it does run away, it doesn't count as defeating it, so make sure you actually defeat it. We don't need to, but we'll heal up. Alright, next is an Espada. This thing has 280,000 HP, and it actually it has an automatic regen, as you can see on it. It will use Hades Claw most of the time, which can give you an instant KO if you don't have Death Proof or Ribbon. And it is pretty quick if you fight this thing early on. But luckily for us, Hades Claw can be dodged, which it uses as a counterattack. And it has very low HP, only 280,000, like I said. Remember, a lot of these are pretty strong when you first unlock them. And I mean, they look easy now because I'm doing this with max stats, of course. But some of them are pretty challenging. This is the Abyss Worm, 480,000 HP. Alright, next we have a Shimmergeist. Which I think we fought once before, but this one is really easy. This is the first one you unlock. And it only has 120,000 HP. Alright, the next one is the Don Tonberry, which we've used for our AP leveling trick many of times. It has 480,000 HP, but I am going to just use a overdrive to get rid of it, because its counterattack of Karma will kill all 3 of my party members, and I don't want to have to keep using Phoenix Downs or Life or anything like that for 5 hits. We'll just use one simple overdrive, and Don Tonberry is done. Alright, next we have Catoblepus, which, as you can tell by its sprite, is a souped up behemoth. And the only thing you have to watch out for, it has 550,000 HP. It attacks single alt attacks or single targets, but it does have a Ultima, our final Ultima attack that you do need to survive. So you could use an Aeon to eat this last hit if you wanted to. When you're fighting this at lower levels, or you can use auto life if you have that. Okay, we have Abaddon here, which is 380,000 HP. Abaddon isn't too scary. It starts with Null All, so it has Null Blaze, Null Frost, Null Shock, and Null Tide floating around it, and it also has Reflect. But there's not too much. It does have Pharaoh's Curse that it can use. Like Demonoliths use, but if you have Ribbon, or you can use Curse Proof, or just keep one person healing, you should be fine. Like I said, it has very low HP. Okay, and here's Warband, our last of the original or Area Conquest monsters. Warband has 630,000 HP. He normally has he's in an armored status, so you would want to have either use a frag grenade to guarantee armored break on him if you're not hitting for crits all the time. He does counter with mortar occasionally. There we go. Let's solve these things first, and then we'll get to the next ones. Okay. Alright. So that was the area conquests. Now the species conquests are a little bit more difficult. They have a lot more HP. For our first one, Fenrir, we have our agility puppy. He has 850,000 HP. He uses his he's really fast, and he has 3 different moves. Fangs of Chaos. It always targets the character who has the highest strength, and it reduces their HP by almost 94%. It can be reduced by Defend and Protect, and sometimes, or it does try to inflict confusion. Fangs of Ruin is just this basic physical attack. And basically the big thing is it tries to confuse you, so you want to have Ribbon or Confuse Proof. Otherwise you're going to be in trouble if you can take care of it. So as you see, even with a whole ton of HP, doesn't matter when you get hit by a percentage attack. Like I said, a lot of these I could just be using Titus or Waka's overdrives, but I'm gonna try not to, just so I can show you that you don't need to if you're not good with them. You know, you could just be sitting here with quick hit or just attacking with most of these. Some of the later ones, even at max stats, still need some sort of strategy. Alright, so this one has 800,000 HP, and its main way to damage you is poison. So Ribbon really works, or poison proof, of course. He's very evasive, and he's fast. He has Poison Touch, which is 75% of the character's current HP as its damage, plus it poisons it, and then it has Drain Touch. One way to get around Drain Touch is you can zombify your characters, and then it'll actually do damage to it instead of healing it. A cheap way to kind of, if you need to, at lower levels, and you have the means to do this, is you can inflict zombie on your all 3 characters, and have also a poison proof armor equipped as well. And then Poison Touch will never kill you because it's percent based. Since it does 75% of your current HP and not max or total, so you can never actually be poisoned by it, and then just sit there while it uses Drain Touch and kills itself. Alright, next we have Teryx. Teryx we didn't see in this playthrough, in the international version or HD remastered, because it drops evasion spheres. In this version, where we need our luck stat very high, or we care about luck stat because of the Dark Aeons, you don't actually see this boss, but it only has 100,000 HP. That curses us, which is fine. Now let's go on. But it has very high evasion, so one way to deal with it is just overdrives. Quick and easy. Waka's overdrive, even at a pretty lowish strength threshold with his world champion, will finish off right away, and same with Titus. This is another one that we don't see in the HD remastered version. This is Hornet, and Hornet is where you would get all your accuracy spheres from, if you needed accuracy spheres. It has 620,000 HP. It attacks with a lot of status effects, so it's just regular physical attack. And inflicts sleep, poison, and confusion. Do I have accuracy spheres? I'm gonna fight that one again, just because I would like to drop an accuracy sphere. Not that I need it, but I just want it for my inventory's sake. And of course, to drop the dark matter, so. We'll just fight it one more time really quick. There we go. Okay, on to Vidatu. Vidatu is another pretty easy one to defeat. It only has 95,000 HP. This is where we got our MP spheres from. It has Regen, Null Blaze, Frost, Shock, and Tide at the start of the battle. But it really only uses Osmos, which takes away your MP. And it has Ultima. And those are two attacks. Funny little side note in Final Fantasy X, as opposed to other Final Fantasies, where you can drain the MP from certain bosses or enemies, so they can't use some of their abilities. In Final Fantasy X, the enemies don't actually consume their MP. Next is One Eye. We've fought a lot of One Eye before. Ribbon is extremely helpful. Only has 150,000 HP because it uses a shockwave. Causes a lot of status effects. Confusion, slow, sleep, silence, and dark. Confusion is the biggest one. You can cure the other ones pretty easily if you get hit with them, but confusion, especially when you have your stats are up there, you can end up wiping yourself out. Okay, so now we're getting to back to some of these that we grinded before. This is the Jumbo Flan, and we're going to use the same thing. And why is that? I'll just show this off really quick. So it's immune to physical, so we'd have to use magic, but it absorbs fire, ice, lightning, and water. I'm sorry, it absorbs water. So we'd have to sit there and just keep casting spells. So that's why the easiest way to do this is to have Yuna summon, and summon Anima. And we'll haste Anima. Even though she has a lot more speed now than when we did our grinds. And we use Pain. And Pain is considered a magic attack, which will do 99,999, and we just spam that at this point. Jumbo Flan has 1.3 million HP. And yeah, you could sit there and have your characters use Flare and Ultima against it. Actually, not. You have to dispel it because it starts off with Reflect. But by far, even at the highest stats and levels, this is just the easiest way and quickest way to just get through this fight. Although it does seem slow. Slowest thing really about this fight is just that the pain animation takes a little bit. I am going to dispel this. You usually don't have to, but sometimes it ends up being a pain. Okay, that one missed. Cool. Okay, so it would have finished it off, but no worries. One extra turn. Okay, our next fight, that was Jumbo Flan, is a Nega Elemental. And we're going to do the same thing. It's just very similar to the Jumbo Flan. And this is another heavily magic-based enemy, and it counterattacks physical attacks. it has very high defense, and it actually counterattacks every physical attack, or every time it's physically attacked with Ultima, and even special moves. So like technically quick hit would be considered a special move, so it would constantly be counterattacking with Ultima, which at my with my stats really wouldn't do a ton of damage. It wouldn't do much, but the constant countering of the Ultima just takes a long time. And he has 1.3 million HP also, just like the Jumbo Flan. There we go. Alright, next we have Tank It. Tank It, you've seen before, drops defense spheres. I forgot to switch out Yuna, no big deal. Tank It has 900,000 HP. You'd want to come in here if you're fighting this at lower levels with Berserk Proof, because it can get stuck in a loop where you just never get to attack. Its regular attack inflicts Berserk, and it severely delays that person's next turn. And then if it's under 50%, it uses a rush attack instead, which has the same effect, but is a rank 1 attack, which is the highest, fastest attack in the game, so that its attack comes up right afterwards. And then because of the delay effect, if you only have one character left, Tank It will just keep getting a turn and delaying your turn, so it'll just keep hitting you over and over and over and over and over, which ends up being really silly on higher levels, because if you have enough HP and defense to where he's not doing that much damage, and you have auto regen on, it gets into a never-ending loop where you never actually get to move or take a turn, but it actually won't be able to deal enough damage to you. So you just have to just aimlessly watch. I have done it before. It's silly to watch once or twice, and then you're kind of over it. But anyway, next we have Fafnir, 1.1 million HP. We fought him quite a bit before while going through our sphere grid. He is the other enemy where you can use the extract abilities to get 40 of your red spheres. Sleep Sprout. Sleep Sprout is what I use to grind dark matter. It has 98,000 HP. Orin can one-shot it through an ambush attack. It makes it real easy. If you don't, Sleep Sprout is just has crazy status effects that it uses, just like most Sprout enemies in the game. If you hit it but don't actually kill it, you're looking at Berserk, Sleep, Power Break, Armor Break. It's kind of nuts. And then it uses Flare and Ultima to deal damage to you. And the sleep that it puts you in is actually 99 turns. So you want to come in here and be able to one-shot it. Or use an Aeon to get rid of it, since Aeons are protected against Berserk and Sleep. Okay, so next we have the Bomb King. So Bomb King has 480,000 HP. It does get bigger, but it doesn't explode when it gets to its max max size. It just gets stronger. So it uses more powerful attacks and spells. So originally it'll just start using fire, or physically attacking, or just something small like fire against your Aeons. But after being hit 3 times, it grows, and then it'll switch to Fyra attacks. And then 3 more after that, if you don't defeat it, it'll go to Fyraga. And then 3 more after that, if you still haven't defeated it yet, it'll start casting Ultima. So, but again, it has less than 500,000 HP, so it's not too tough to get rid of. Next we have Juggernaut. This thing has 1.2 million HP. Juggernaut is one of the easier ones, as it always uses its first turn charging up. So you can get a lot of damage in, especially if you have a high agility and have haste on your characters. You do have to remember though, if your luck stat isn't high enough to do critical hits, it is armored. So you're going to need to either use Oran's overdrive or a frag grenade to put it in a armor break status. And we've fought him quite a bit though, where he drops our strength spheres. Okay, and then Ironclad we've fought many times before. This guy a lot of times to get our HP spheres. He has 2 million HP, and he will always counter attack with his single target attack, but luckily it's evadable. Yo, Umbros, long time no see. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had an awesome stream. Welcome in, welcome in. Alright, so that was the last of our species conquests. Let's save. Now we're off to original. Now, I've fought these before, but I will, like I said, do them again. We've done Earth Eater way too many times. But we have 1.3 million HP for Earth Eater. So we attack once, and it'll use Megaton Punch, which is an auto KO. And then if we hit it with another attack, it'll fall over, which makes it real easy to defeat after this. Will you? Oops, there we go. Entrust. I'll give Waka another full overdrive. Now he counterattacks with Flare when he's on his back, but it's a lot better than anything else. And one extra attack will finish him off. This is where we got all our fortune spheres from. The over 300, I think it was 370 that we needed. That's fine. I'm going to just really quickly, because we're going to need our overdrives again. So, like I said, we have the Victor, and we'll just attack really quick, and we're done. Alright. Get back to it. Greater Sphere. So, the way to do Greater Sphere is we attack 4 times. It'll counterattack with Ultima each time. Now that we have all this HP and our magic defenses maxed out, it doesn't really do much, but... Three... Four... And then we use Waka's Overdrive. So if you attack 4 times for 99,999 and then use Waka's Overdrive at high enough strength where he does max damage as well, and you get the 12 hits, it is exactly enough damage to overkill it. And this is where we got all of our luck spheres. It's funny that the Fortune Sphere and Luck Sphere enemies both dropped Dark Matter, which is not where you want them to drop, since they're the tougher enemies. Okay, just to raise our okay. Alright, this next one, Catastrophe. So Catastrophe has 2.2 million HP, and it can do a lot of damage, but it is very predictable with its attacks. So it starts off in its shell, and it'll either do nothing or using Toxic Mist, which is poison, confusion, and curse to the party. Where you have ribbon, so that takes care of most of that. Once you've done 440,001 or more HP damage, it will pop out of its shell, and then it'll have even weaker defenses, but it increases its agility, and then it starts its main attack pattern. It will start with Toxic Spray, which is heavy damage. It picks the character with the highest HP, and it causes full break. Then its next turn it'll use Demi, which is 25% of the current HP to the party of your current HP as damage to the party. And then its last attack is 100 Thorns. 100 Thorns is a much more powerful Toxic Spray. But it just doesn't have any statuses, but it does target the entire party. If you're doing this on lower levels, when 100 Thorns comes out, summon an Aeon to just tank it, or if you have auto life, you can just auto life yourself. So now it should come out of its shell. Another kind of easy way to fight this is you can have summon Anima during the first phase, and you keep track of the turns, and then shield when Toxic Mist is coming with Anima, and then cast Haste and Shell on have Anima cast Haste and Shell on herself, and then use Focus and Cheer 5 times each, and then Protect if her defense is too low, and then just use Physical Attack to get Catastrophe out of her shell, or out of its shell, and then just shield for Toxic Spray and 100 Thorns, and then you just keep attacking through Demi, and you just you just have to keep track of its attack pattern. and then because these, because it has so high of an HP pool, at 2.2 million, if Anima needs to heal, you can teach it, or you can just use Drain, and it'll heal itself back up to max if you're at lower levels and need to do that. So this should be Toxic Spray. And because we're immune to everything, no big deal, and then that's done. So there was Catastrophe. Catastrophe drops Designer Wallets. Okay. Alright, next we have Thuban. Thuban has 3 million HP. Things are starting to get a little tougher. And he is sometimes considered to be the second hardest original creation. He has really tough counterattack. And also he's very souped up in terms of his power level. All of your damage is countered with Condemn, and it's a party-wide physical attack that removes auto life, haste, all the null effects, protect, shell, reflect, and regen. If you're equipped with auto haste or any of those abilities in your armor, like any of the auto abilities, auto regen, it won't take those off. It can't. But if you only cast those things, then it will take them off. And the thing too is if you actually die to Condemn, which I'll show you here. If you die to Condemn, or if you get hit with Condemn and die from it, it actually removes the auto life first, and then the damage is calculated. So auto life won't even save you before it's removed. If you the AI for this boss is if you attempt to inflict slow or try to delay its actions, it'll cast haste on itself. You can't counter this by casting reflect on it. But it actually can't be slowed or delayed. So it's just kind of one of those things that if you randomly think you can do that, it'll counter by casting haste on itself. Its first turn is always swipe, and that's just a regular physical attack. Then it goes with Rainbow, which is a heavy magical damage attack to the whole party, and it causes Curse, Confusion, Silence, Sleep, and Darkness. Silence, Sleep, and Darkness can be... You can use the Ward abilities to cut it down to 50% chance. And then... its third turn, it'll cast Protect, Shell, or Regen on itself. So it'll cast... It won't cast a status it already has, so it'll cast Protect, then Shell, or Regen, and then if it has Protect already and it gets back around, it won't ever cast Protect again. It'll cast Shell. And then its fourth turn, it'll use an ability called Convergence, which it does 99,999 damage to one character. And then it starts repeating again from its swipe ability. So as you can see, it has a pattern. You can kind of exploit the pattern a little bit, but also too, if your defense is high enough, like I have auto protect, so you can see I'm only with 255 strength or defense. It only takes, or it's only hitting me for like less than 400 each time. And then with max, obviously HP, it does very, very, very little to do anything. And then Waka also can deal 99,999 with his overdrive per hit. So as long as you can line up Waka's overdrives pretty reliably, this should not be too much of a problem. It drops Underdog Secrets. That is used to put double overdrive on a weapon. It's really not worth the grind for that. Plus you get 99 of them anyway from Rin when you talk to him after getting all 26 Albed primers. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna skip Knee Slug for right now, instead of doing them in order. The reason I'm doing that is because I've already defeated Ultima Buster and Shinryu, so I want to fight them again first before we fight Knee Slug, which will unlock what we need to unlock. So let's do Ultima Buster first. And Ultima Buster is pretty simple. I showed him off a few different times. So what you want to do is you want to have Titus and Auron take care of the arms first. I'm just gonna do this. Waka can take care of the head. And then it is just 5 million HP to take care of. So you can use Waka's overdrives. I can give him one from Titus since I forgot to get them their full overdrive gauges, but it's okay. This will also show off what Ultima Slug can do, or Ultima Buster. So it does a physical attack. It can cast Ultima, which is a pretty powerful version of it, but with max magic defense, it really doesn't do too much damage. You can definitely survive it and continue, and as long as you can survive it, you can always heal. There we go. So we'll show off Ultima. couple thousand. Ultima Buster drops winning formulas. But most importantly, it drops AP grinding weapons, which I have I have a video specifically showing that. $5 million HP is a lot. There we go. Okay, now we'll do Shinryu. I did show off fighting Shinryu as well. You have to use Riku because we're underwater. But he has 2 million HP. He counterattacks. Now Riku doesn't have auto protect, and it only does 600 or less than 700 damage. So you can't just fight him straight up if you wanted to. But he does use Eraser. He won't use it if you only have one character left alive. But he will use it if you have all three or two characters left. And because it's underwater, it turns your character to stone, and there is no curing it. You instantly are lost from the battle. I should have used Titus's overdrive. No biggie. He's almost done. This should finish him off. There we go. Okay. We'll just fill up our overdrive gauges really quick. Okay. And then we will take on the last one. I'll be right back, really quick. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so our last one is called Knee Slug. Knee Slug has 4 million HP, and he's actually the only original sprite for an original creation, or any of these monsters. So every other monster or enemy can be found somewhere else in the game as a as a sprite. Knee Slug is the only one that is completely by itself. So it has 4 million HP. When it loses 2 million and 1 HP, it will retreat into its shell. It gains immunity from physical attacks, but not overdrives. And it'll all of a sudden have regen on itself to start regenerating its health back. So when Knee Slug is like this, in this first part of the battle, it uses Megaton. It's a single target physical attack that inflicts confusion, and Slime, which hits all party members with heavy magic damage, and tries to inflict silence, poison, slow, armor break, mental break, curse, and delay. The armor break and mental break ignore immunity, so they can even be set on Aeons. But funny enough, if you are able to silence Knee Slug, it can't use Slime. And then it also has a chance to use just a regular basic physical attack, which oddly enough targets the character with the highest current MP. So when he loses 2001 or more HP, it will retreat into its shell, and it will cast regen on itself. And then on its turns, it will use Curaga to heal even more HP. And then it'll leave its shell if its HP rises to over 3 million. Or you can break its shell by reducing its HP below 1 million, and then it won't be able to do that anymore. And then after the shell breaks, he returns to his initial attack pattern. So if you have high enough strength, the simplest way to kind of do this is quick hit Knee Slug 20 times, and then use Waka's attack reel, and it'll completely skip the next phase of him going into his shell. Because you can get into a situation where Knee Slug just keeps going back into its shell, and then it just out heals you, and it just repeats the pattern. You can never actually finish it off. So I started with a ambush, which is what it is. I could flee, but that's fine. So alright, so that was one. We want to get rid of Curse for Waka, because we need his... I just want to see something. So that was one. Okay. 2. 3. 13, 14, 15, 16, so 17, 18, 19 right there. That's 20. So what I'm actually going to do is okay. There we go. And then this is pretty cool. The shell shatters. Oops. A little too quick with that one, but that happens. It's okay. Should be just about finished anyway. We'll just quick hit him out of here. There we go. So you can see how much Megaton does, even with max max stats, max HP. So that's 65,000. You get what's called a pendulum. Pendulums teach Master Thief. Pendulums teach Master Thief on an armor, which just always allows you to steal the rare items from enemies rather than the common. Okay. So let's save. And here it is. Because we've done that, we did all those. This is what happens. You get 10 Master Spheres. Let's, I don't think I need my overdrives, but just to be safe. Alright, so what that does is it unlocks Nemesis, which is the ultimate original creation. Nemesis has 10 million HP. Nemesis is tough. And in this version, he's actually a lot tougher than in the original Final Fantasy X, because Quick Hit cost a lot less MP, but also was a rank 1 move. So you were able to just do an insane amount of damage to him before he can do anything. But they fix that in the remaster version because it was too ridiculous. Huh. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, since we got ambushed, is I'm going to switch to Kamari because I need to use Jinx. Or Lancet, sorry. Because this is one of 2 enemies that can give me our last Ronso Rage that we need. And there it is. Learning. So we got all of our Ronso Rages, and that's why we got that trophy. We're going to reset on this anyway. Okay. Okay, let's switch Orin back in. Okay, Titus needs to fight really quick. So you can see how strong some of Nemesis attacks are. His ultimate really doesn't do much, but his Ethereal Cannon just did 20k. Okay, so really quick. And here you have it. So we got Nova. Does a really lot of damage to a lot of magic damage, or yeah, a lot of defense ignoring magic damage to all enemies. Alright, so how do we defeat something with 10 million HP? Well, let's get to that right now. We'll take it slow. It's going to be a long fight. Oh, even better. Okay, so first thing I want to do is it kind of turns into a how many Aeons do you have, and they're all going to get finished off. If you don't have at least max agility and strength, the Nemesis is really, really tough to beat because of how fast it is. And just the lack of damage you'll do if you don't have max strength. So basically we want to get it into a its pattern. So its attacks are actually unpredictable, or I'm sorry, its attacks are predictable, even though it doesn't look like it at first. It can either use its basic physical or a special attack. The special attacks are used in order. It does Ethereal Cannon, which does heavy non-elemental magic damage to one character. Ultra Spark, which does poison, slow, curse, and power break. Also with a lot of damage to the party. The power break also ignores immunity, so Ribbon doesn't stop it. And then a physical attack, which is scripted, and then it loops back to Ethereal Cannon. So each attack is assigned a point value, which is where it kind of gets a little confusing. All 3 special attacks, including the scripted physical, are worth 2 points to its total. Random physicals that are used in between are worth 3 points. And then the scripted physicals look and act like the same as the random ones, so it's kind of tough to pay. You have to pay attention. When the counter hits 20, Nemesis uses Armageddon, which is an unblockable 99,999 to the party. And even if you shield with an Aeon, it still does that much damage, and then it resets the counter to 0. Armageddon does not replace special attacks in the attack order, it just delays them. And then he'll counter any special attack, special ability, or overdrive with Ultima. The Ultima, like we saw earlier, is like 5,000. It's not too bad, but... so again, the strategy depends on which version you're playing. So if you're playing, the PS2 original version, Quick Hit has a rank of 1 and it costs much less MP. You can just literally cast Haste Aga on the party, and then abuse Quick Hit, summon Aeons right before Nemesis takes his turn. Let Nemesis kill off the Aeon, and then just repeat Quick Hit, Quick Hit, Quick Hit. It's really, really super simple if you're playing that version. But all the other versions, the PAL, the International, and the Remaster version, it takes a little bit more focus. Because if you just simply summon your Aeons, whenever Nemesis is about to get a turn, you're going to run out of Aeons if he's not using Armageddon. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes of any key things. Okay, so another way to do this is to cast Auto Life on your party, and then just go to town if you have 99,999 HP. And I'm going to try to do that. We'll see how that works. The Nemesis drops Warp Spheres normally, which allows you to move to any sphere or any node on the sphere grid. You can get these from steal his rare steel. And then you can get it from a common drop, or you can get dark matter. If you want to steal his common item, it's level 4 key spheres. And then he drops weapons with break damage limit, and then armors with break HP limit. So if you want to farm him for the other 4 break HP limit, armors, you can, but there's a quicker farming method with one of the Dark Aeons. I feel it's quicker. So what I'm going to do first is go to Special, Use, and if you use a 3 stars, so Twin Stars, you can use to make one character's MP cost go to 0 for all spells. 3 stars makes the parties. So we'll do this first. And now we're going to give everyone auto life, which costs 0. Okay. And now we will start the quick hit spam. Auto life can't be removed by Nemesis. I can use Kiraga. I probably shouldn't have even bothered, but that's fine. Let's see. So we all have Power Break and Curse. And that's with Power Break. We're still doing pretty close. So with Power Break, Waka, you saw it just hit for a little bit under. It was like 99,400. We'll take a turn to cast Kiraga on everybody. I really don't even need to bother with healing, but I mean it's free. So now something like this. Well, that's what I forgot, is that I forgot that Mega Elixirs only do 9,999. Whoops. it then. Let's do this. I always forget that even though I have 99,999 HP, that's all it does. I think X potions only do that as well. Let's see something. Yeah, okay. So this is a very long, boring fight. Probably going to be using Armageddon soon. Okay. Alright, so now when you do get revived, you no longer have the 3 stars ability. So you just have to revamp that. Let's go. Auto life. Auto life. Auto life. I want to see something. Okay, I forget why that's not doing what I want it to, but that's fine. Okay. So if it just attacks physically, it's not bad. Yep, there we go. Okay, gives me a chance to recoup. That's one thing about this game. There's no, like, heal all spell. Okay. That should be good enough for now. Let's get back to it. This is definitely a marathon type of fight, not a sprint. So take your time. A throw cannon is fine. Ultra Spark is really what we don't want to see. Physical attacks are even better because we get a counter. Alright, hoping for a physical attack here. Nice. And there it is. Overcoming the Nemesis. Another trophy. Awesome. And I got a dark matter. Okay. Being my mightiest beast? What an extraordinary power. Which still makes no sense with this monster arena. He's creating these just crazy strong monsters, which majority of them are much stronger than anything else you'll fight anywhere. Especially Nemesis, and just this little guy, like us. Known as the one who conquered all. The Mark of Conquest. All right. So the Mark of Conquest is just a key item, I believe. Where are you? Yeah. It doesn't do anything special. It just says that, you know, you've done what you've done. Okay. Funny enough, I'm going to save. And I'm actually going to fight Nemesis really quick one more time. I'm not going to actually fight him. I just want to steal a warp stone just to have. Of course, I was ambushed. No problem. Steal. There we go. Warp sphere. I keep saying stone. Warp sphere. This is the warp sphere. You can go to any location on the sphere grid. So we did all that. Wasn't too bad. Again, you can see how strong Ethereal, Cannon, and Ultra Spark are, even at completely maxed out. Stats in sphere grid, so it does take a little bit of paying attention, but yeah, so that is the Monster Arena Gauntlet. So we got all the Ronso Rages, that trophy, and then defeating Nemesis. I'm gonna cut it there. Next time we're gonna take on the Omega Ruins. We'll finish that, and then we still have the Dark Aeons. But there really isn't too much more to do before we have to go actually finish the game. We have, like I said, now there's only 4 more trophies, 2 of which, one is beating the game, and the other one is watching the scenes of what happens after the ending. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, and then like and comment on these videos. It would greatly help the algorithm and get these videos out there. As always, you can find in the description a link to my Twitch, where you can watch these live. I do mostly RPG playthroughs, but every once in a while I'll do some other games as well. My schedule is also in the details of all my YouTube videos, as well as on my Twitch page. So thank you all. I will catch you in the next one. Have a good one.